What is going on, everybody? Brent Abel here, goldballhunting.com. It is Sunday, December 29th, 2019, almost the end of the decade. We've got a little problem in the house tonight, Jeff. I mean, we're making this recording in the morning, but tonight, 49ers play at Seattle.
Oh,
And the problem is
the problem
here is my wife is from Seattle and she loves the Seahawks, and I learned to hate the Rams before I could walk. So it's kind of like, so the diehard 49er, diehard Seattle Seahawk. I don't know. It could get a little ugly around the Abel abode tonight. Sunday night football. Come on,
So
Niners. Come on, Niners. Come on. With
you're
that
gonna need me
said,
around to be a counselor tonight,
why not? Yeah, might have to referee that thing tonight.
facilitator.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, we're not going to talk about National Football League stuff on this episode of the Gold Ball Hunting podcast. We got something else we're going to chat about today. So hope you guys are doing well. Hang in there with us to the end of this podcast, end of this episode, because, God, this is number 350, Jeff. Boom.
Boomski.
So the big question is this: how are tennis players like us who never played in the tour, weren't incredible juniors, or maybe got a late start to the game, how do we consistently compete at our highest skill level without having to grind through endless hours of on-court practice time and still be in the hunt for victory match after match? That is the question, and Gold Ball Hunting gives you the answers by helping you eliminate your skill level range so that you build a strong foundation of confidence. My name is Brent Abel, and along with my biz partner, Jeff Jacklich, welcome to Gold Ball Hunting. Well, all right, young man. God dang it. Rainy, drizzly day out there here in Northern California. I'm going to the gym when we're done recording. I don't know what you're up to today. Maybe you've got, I'm sure your plate's full of some really smart stuff. I just go in and work and do all the physical. You're the smarty pants of the bunch. What do you got? Is that right? I hope so.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, that's
not feeling that smart lately.
Well, look, like I said before, guys, here it is, the end of the year, God, the end of a decade. And it kind of, I don't know about you, Jeff, but for me, at the end of, at the end of like a month, a calendar month, I kind of go, what have I gotten done this month? End of a year, I go, what have I done this year? It's been significant, anything to move the needle. In 2 days, it's going to be the thought, I'm going to be going, what have I been doing for the last decade? I look back at 2010. God, it's been 10 years, man. I mean, it's craziness. So I think one thing I want to talk about today is like, sometimes players, we're so inundated now, as opposed to like 10 years ago, with the availability of, I'm talking about tennis players, about tennis instruction. It's just overwhelming. And it what's the phrase? A confused mind says no.
Right.
Maybe something like that. And so I think that, if you're the kind of player that's actually trying to become better, like we've been talking about recently, you see the guys who are just a half level or a level above you. You're playing on court 7 and they're back over there on court 2, and you're looking over there going, boy, that looks like a whole lot more fun at that level than what I'm doing now.
Right.
And I just think that what happens is guys start tinkering around, they start going on YouTube, they start asking, club members who don't know anything about, the game of tennis, or they, they're working with some pro that just wants to grind through stroke technique. Is at some point you have to commit to one way of doing it. And, you and I believe that we've got the best way, but there's definitely other ways out there. And if it's not us, then fine. But, get out there and commit to one thing. Stop dabbling with, I wonder if this little thing over here might work. Well, that didn't work too well. It worked yesterday when I first tried it, but then today, not so much. I'm going to sort of dabble over here. There's a great book by George Leonard, who wrote Mastery, little tiny book. I've told you got to read that book, or maybe I've even given you the book. I don't know. But it's just, he just tees it up. He just says, look, you can dabble all day long, but you're not gonna go where you want to go. So what am I trying to get to other than I think at some point you got to reflect. All right, it's been 10 years. All right, it's been 1 year. It's been a month. What have I actually moved the needle in that time frame? And I think for me with my tennis, so I look back in the 10 years, obviously 10 years older, from now 71 to 61. I'm assuming I was moving better 10 years ago, but I don't think I was as what's the word? Don't want to use smart or intelligent, but I wasn't as what?
Thoughtful?
No, I'm thinking more just kind of clarity.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got way more clarity now of kind of what my skill set is and how to best use it against certain types of players.
Right.
And I think it has a whole lot less to do. Maybe 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I was still, I was just crashing the boards. I was serving volley in singles, first and second serve. I don't remember ever staying back once in singles. Obviously in doubles, I still don't do that. But in singles, so yeah, I guess there's the answer, right? I can't do what I used to do 10 years ago in terms of serve and volley. So I think you have to make some adjustments. And I know that for me, I guess the biggest change for me in the last 10 years has been that realization I can't do what I used to do. And that probably happened maybe at the end of the 60s for me, age group, maybe kind of around first year of 65s, and having to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Come on.
Well, I think
you're the smarty pants in this group here. So why don't you, dive in whenever you can. I mean, I'm just kind of wandering here with my thoughts.
You're just rambling.
I'm rambling. I need you to set me on the path by telling me, Brenny, let me take over.
I think it's, it's the harsh reality of aging up, right?
Yeah.
Not moving, we don't move as fast, reflexes change. I mean, and it doesn't mean that, we become, just wrecks out there, but things need to be adjusted. The way you interpret what's going on the court has to be adjusted. And I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles, blind spots for a lot of players. They have framed tennis in a very specific box on how it should be played. And unfortunately, the reality of the boots on the ground experience is you got to throw that out. I mean, literally, you got to throw that box out and get down to what's your skill set? What do you do well? And what tactics can I deploy using my skill set? Because that's really, again, where the rubber meets the road. You can have the right game plan all day long, but if you don't have the actual tools to deploy that, we're not going to get the job done that day. And so that's where, again, we, circling back to what we've been, harping on all year and throwing rocks at all year is theory tennis. And theory tennis is great. And just like any theory or formula, it only works properly, or you only get the right answer when you've plugged in all the right numbers. And in this case, plugging in the right numbers is plugging in all the correct skills. And all those skills have to be at a specific quality of delivery if we want to end up with the right answer. And the right answer in this case is winning, right? And so the journey is always has to be adjusted. I mean, and listen, look at Fed. Let's take one of the, if not the greatest player of all time. he made adjustments.
Yeah.
He's made adjustments all along his career path, up into, right there when he decided, I'm not going to back up on my backhand anymore. And everybody was, after his knee injury, and everybody was counting him out. And, oh, yes, let's count him out. Oh, yes. But before you count me out, let me just snag 4 more Grand Slams. Oops. So we're talking about one of the most elite athletes ever to play a sport ever. And yet he's making adjustments based on his skill set, what he and his team still believe he's capable of producing, but also making adjustments so he doesn't have to produce certain shots that really stress his body and everything else. He's looking to shorten points and do things, again, more efficiently for him. And so, we can learn that lesson, playing senior national ball. And
Well, look, you said, the beginning, you said the harsh reality of aging up. And I sort of, the last few years have sort of said it's the beauty. It's
yeah,
a beauty reality of aging up, because I know that all the guys, all my peers are, right along with me, they're aging up. But what can I do to actually make myself a better player in relation to those guys? And number one has been fitness. I mean, that's just like, and it's tougher, like as we get older, right? We're sort of, we physically get worn out faster, and all these things. And it's just so easy. God, I've lived a long life. Don't I deserve to just kind of sit back and just hit a few? Okay. If you want to do that, but a lot of guys who barely know how to hit a tennis ball are going to go racing by you, because they've embraced this whole thing about fitness, and specifically fitness for tennis. I'm not talking about going in the gym and just, grunting all day,
right.
or going out there and being Frank Shorter and, running a marathon every day. I'm talking about fitness that is specific for tennis. And then, so that for me has been a big deal. Um, and in terms of endurance, but in terms of quickness as well. That, and then the other thing for sure is becoming a more consistent shot maker. Right? Since I couldn't serve and volley as effectively as I used to, I still do some in singles. But because the serve lost a little MPH, and the first step
Right.
was maybe, a foot and a half still closer to the baseline than it was closer to the service line on that
Right.
on that first volley. So those two things for me, I think have really, over the last 10 years, if I look back, and look, I've had within the last 2 or 3 years my best in terms, if you want to measure them by, you know, gold balls, silver balls, bronzes, no question. I mean, it's been a pretty incredible 20, 2 teams, captain, two World Cup teams. So all those things have got to be some kind of a sign that whatever I've been doing in the last few years is different than what I was doing 10 years ago.
Right.
And so I guess the message today, guys, is a couple things. Number one is yeah, I mean, it's the end of the teens, right? We go to 2020 next year. Look back at the last year. Look back at the last 10 years, and sort of take stock and sort of reflect on, God dang it, I spent way too much time thinking that I had to learn how to really more top, more lag, more snap, more wipe. I had to pump in a bigger first serve, all based on technique. And tell me where you're at. Put that
Right.
down, as opposed to really embracing being a consistent shot maker, where you want the ball to land over there, and really starting to think about where do you want to move to next on the court. And then we can't get away from fitness. Look, we just can't get away from it. I'm sorry, man. Look, if you're carrying around an extra 10, 15, 20 as you age up, it takes a worse toll. I think there are guys at 50, even 60, who can carry around a little extra baggage, but eventually it just goes, your
Right.
skeletal system goes, uh, what do you think I am? Like Superman? No. So that's what I got today, Jeff.
I think it's pretty good. That's again, as you said, the beauty of it. I think I just used the term harsh reality because it's a reality check. You gotta,
Yeah.
there is a beauty to it because you start to remove some of the theory pressure off of yourself of how you believe the game should be played. And we are here to educate players on the realities of playing national senior ball, and even league tennis players. There's a reality to it. What are you capable of producing right now? Not what you want to produce. What are you capable of producing right now? Not what you hope to produce, but what are you capable of producing right now? Now let's look at that. Let's detail that out. What do you do well? What do you not do so well? Blah blah blah. And then take a good look at it and kind of go, I keep straying toward this, or I keep kind of returning to this type of play over here because it's kind of all I know, but it really doesn't suit you well when it comes down to winning matches. And that's the other kind of harsh reality is that maybe you're working with a great pro already. I know we harp on that, about the pros and what's being taught these days and all that, but there are some great pros out there without a doubt. We know them, and are you, as the student, as the player, are you doing yourself a disservice by not actually heeding the wisdom that you're getting? Meaning, can you go out and play a league match with certain constraints? I'm going to do this, and I don't care how the match comes out, because I can tell you, I've had many students. We work on something, I watch them go play their match, and it's nowhere to be found. They immediately retreat back to their what they know, and even though we've had the discussion, that's not a guarantee of a win. Nothing is, but we know for sure in this case it is not going to get the job done. And so that I think is another thing that players should really look at is, are you willing to lose matches, practice matches, and even league matches, and even tournament matches, by deploying the wisdom that you've been given until you start to see the reality of how that works, rather than immediately retreating. Oh, when we get a little pressure, we go back to our warm fuzzy, knowing that it's not going to work, but it makes us feel like we're doing something. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
well, look, I think the other thing too is you mentioned, and I don't know exactly how you phrased it, but what it brought up to me is that I know what you're talking about. Is you're talking about, what can you realistically do on a consistent basis out there? That and it brought up to me, like, so many players kind of live in the future. They go, well, here's what I want to be doing, or here's what I hope I can do. And too often, I think we talked about it yesterday, is they hit that one great forehand up the line winner, dinger. And the
Right.
brain just goes, well, I want to be doing that. That's how I want to play the game. And that's fine. But the problem with that is you can't do that often enough to actually raise the bar. Right. I mean,
Right.
look, we've talked about first serve percentage. Hey, if your first serve percentage is 90 plus, you're just throwing a little lollipop.
Right.
So
Probably
what's that
not
number?
inflicting any pain.
Right. So what's that number in terms of how often you pull the trigger and go up the line, to where, you just got to assume that you're going to miss some. Just going to miss some. And I would think that, and I would say too, that's another sort of thing that I've been able to kind of build in my game over the last 10 years, is kind of knowing when I'm feeling this up the line forehand. I used to think, well, this is going to be a point ender. I don't think that it's a point ender, because I can't stop that guy over there from anticipating that's where I'm going. But there's sort of a level of confidence that is different than what it was 10 years ago, which is, I'm going up the line with this forehand. I'm going to give it a ride. and there's a chance I'm going to miss it, but it's that sense that I now have this mindset and I now have this kind of skill set on it of knowing when everything is really at the right moment to try the shot. It's not a guarantee.
Right. Right.
But I've got the right spacing. I've got the right, I'm feeling it that day. My opponent just took one step away from the middle, as opposed to he just hit a ball cross court, and I'm hoping up the line's open, but dang it, he's actually moving over there. So, but you're right, it's never a guarantee. And so sometimes you go for it and you make it, and other times you go for it and you miss it, and you just realize that it's I mean, nothing out there is a guarantee. I mean, I can tell you, well, fitness all day long and becoming a consistent shot maker. No, it's not a guarantee. And I think it's just not a guarantee. I think way too many players are looking for, well, what's the sure thing?
Right.
That's the beauty of this game, man, is there's no sure thing. And the top players understand that. And there are days when they go out there and just everything is conspiring against them, but they don't come out and make excuses. They got some little leg injury, and the guy over there is playing the best tennis he's played in the last 15 years. And whatever, he had a lousy night's sleep, and it's conspiring against you. And just go, okay, that's it, done. Nice going. Right. I'll see you next week. So, all right, guys, listen, I could go on forever. I better stop. Quick reminder on which are selling out quick is these 2 workshops we've got. One sold out. Friday, January 17th is sold out. We still have a few spots left on Thursday, January 16th. These are one-day workshops in the desert, California desert, next month, which are sort of timed at the end of the Palm Springs Tennis Club tournament, senior tournament, and right before the start of the Wilson World Classic. So these are going to be fantastic workshops. And really what we're going to help you guys do is sort of understand a little bit of what I think I tried to so ineloquently describe today, kind of my last 10 years, which is really finding what it is that I do well and see if I can't do a whole lot more of it. And, for me, it's been, I'm sure there's someone or a couple guys out there who are fitter. That's fine. But, no one would accuse me of not spending, the off-court time and doing the work there. And the other thing too is I've really gotten way more consistent with my shot making. And so that's what we want to help you guys discover. For you, that might not be the answer. It might be something else. And we want to help you discover what it is that makes you uniquely good and try to help devise a strategy or two, tactic, so we can put you in that position a whole lot more often.
Yes.
And what does all that add up to? Winning more. And winning more of those close matches that right now maybe you're not getting the W on it. So guys, down below this video, there's 2 links. Number 1, take you to the workshop info video that Jeff and I recorded a few weeks ago, if you haven't seen that yet. And the link below that is the application to apply to join us, because we got to make sure we vet everybody in terms of we've got everybody in the right skill level group, so it works for you and for everybody else in the group. Gosh, I guess that's it, Jeff. What do we want to find folks to do right now?
Like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. iTunes, Stitcher, rate and review, goldballhunting.com.
Spread the word.
Share. Spread the word.
Spread the word, guys. Get out there, help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, let's try this Brent Abel ramble again tomorrow.
Can't wait.